when now we are still talking about the culture and what stands across the conversation, as we're talking about primary, you're talking about high school, but what is cutting across is we were in a religious kind of school, we're in a Catholic school. Do you think in any way that experience shaped your faith today? Did it give you any perception of what believing in God means in that moment? Speaking for myself, I feel like I just went with the wave. Being born Catholic, then I've gone to Catholic schools. I was just riding the wave. I was just like, okay, yeah, we learn about the sacraments, we take sacraments. Sadaka tutatoa. I decided to be an altar girl at some point. There have been things. But in bringing me like closer to God, I'm not so sure, but I feel like maybe that happened in high school, which will now share our experience. But for primary, I feel like I did things because they were supposed to be done. You're kneeling to pray because you're supposed to be, and if you don't, kuna kiboko. I don't know if that experience shaped your faith.
Well, for my experience, I think it totally changed my perspective on the Catholic Church.
Okay.
Because I am an Anglican, but then now since the school was Catholic, everybody had to follow the Catholic faith.
Yeah.
It was a must. So, but I remember on Saturdays and I think maybe Friday evening, we used to have like these denominations. So now you could now break into your own if you're like Muslim.
You guys had an option.
If you're Muslim or something like that. That was like Saturday afternoon, something like that, or like Friday Magioni. But on Sundays and Tuesday, everybody had to go to church. It was compulsory. And if you don't go to church, it is two things and you'll get suspended. At some point, you'll actually get suspended. So if you're in the dormitory, you'll choose. You're either a thief or you're a lesbian.
Or a witch.
Or a witch at some point.
So you admit to being one of
you
them.
have, so because on your suspension letter, you'll be told you choose one. And I remember the deputy was like, you choose one. You'll either be a thief or a lesbian. Those were the most common.
Yeah.
So on your letter, it's going to be written, you're either a lesbian. And now you even wonder, now how am I going to tell my parents that I was a thief? Or I was a lesbian. So you choose one. You see.
And you literally what you did.
Yeah, you literally choose one. Yeah. So I also remember there was another thing that changed my perspective. There was a time there was like something going on. I think one of the fathers was it a father or it was a father who I think was like catering one of the students. And this thing went round and round and round, and apparently it was true. But how that thing turned out, it was twisted in such a way that the father was right. Like the father was the one who was being seduced.
Oh, God.
Like the student...
Even the age difference didn't make sense.
Yeah,
right?
like the student was the one on the wrong. She's the one who's spreading the rumors. I kid you not. I remember that day the father went and said that all this is lies. He's a person of God, whatnot. And that lady was called in front of the church. And she was beaten. By the sisters. I cannot forget it. It was, after the mass in church. She was beaten.
And the father was there?
Yeah, he was there, but just say that he didn't do it.
Was she beaten in the presence of the priest?
Yes. It was after the sermons, after everything, she was beaten there in front of everybody to see. And she was told never to say that. I remember it so vividly. And another thing that also made me change my perspective.
Why you're traumatized about this thing.
Another thing that changed my perspective was every day, okay, now because there was Tuesday and there was Sunday, you have to give sadaka. So there was two ways of giving sadaka. There was the sadaka which you have to give to the school, like beginning of the term. Yes, it was like part of your school fees. And sometimes by then you would not even be cleared if you've not finished sadaka.
Did you have that?
No, how much was sadaka?
I can't remember the one which was in your school fees. I don't know if it was 500 shillings. I really can't quite remember the exact figure.
So au clear shule juu hujalipa masadaka over the years.
Yes. They will calculate it and tell you you've not paid sadaka. You've not cleared paying sadaka. Yes. I'm so for real. And then at the same time, so now because every Tuesday and Sunday you had to give sadaka, and people were also coming from very humble backgrounds.
Yeah.
So you had to go and you put in the box. Everybody had to simama from where they're staying. So sometimes people used to sit wherever it is that they're sitting because you don't have. Then they made it a rule: you have to go and put, or you bow in front over there. If you don't have, you bow. So it even reached a point that people were even putting, stones, just metal, so that you can just hear the cling. So that you just hear the cling, cling, cling. So people used to either carry, maybe you'll go home and you tell your parents, give me all the 1 bobs that you have. Give me, so that I can distribute them throughout the entire term.
Yeah.
So that you at least you just hear it was
you
really
would have such a bad impression of the Catholic
Church.
Church.
Yeah, definitely. I think after that,
have you ever gone
finished
for mass again?
I think
like
maybe
intentionally saying I'm going for mass.
Maybe just once, but honestly, it really changed my perspective of the Catholic Church. And I remember I came home and I told my mom, I was like, I don't think this is the way to worship God. This is just, it is all about, it's not about worshiping God. It's about all these other things that, it just wasn't. So it changed my perspective.
You?
No, for me, church was entertainment. As kids used to go to church every day.
Used to dance.
I used to sing, every day, every morning. So I used to sing and dance in church. That's the only entertainment I ever got in that school. But from what you're saying, it's not the church that was the problem. It was the people in the church.
Oh yeah.
Because they're actually very nice people. And it's just human beings who are wearing the cloth.
Yeah, it's just that at that point you're so young, they have a role to also shape how you think about it, and they really fail. So you can, it's very hard unless you've healed to separate that this was not the church, this was just people.
Yeah,
maybe did it affect my faith? No. Did it build my faith? No, because I was going to church to sing and dance, not anything else. But now I went to church for like every day of my life for 3 years. I don't have enough space for church now.
No judgment. You feel a bit saturated.
Like I've gone to church enough for a lifetime.
I understand you.
Enough for a lifetime. Enough.
I cannot imagine going every day.
Every day, 6 to 7. Every single day.
And then it's out of obligation.
And then every day, 5 to 6, you pray the rosary.
Oh, that's us.
I've even forgotten how to pray the rosary.
Leader.
Me too. No, I don't even remember how to pray it.
Now I get to a point I do not know. I just didn't want to do it again. I didn't want to do it. But I also feel like it strengthened my relationship with God, because at that point I needed to survive.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For me. So I used to pray to God, I need to pass to get out of this.
Imagine me, I was praying the rosary out of necessity. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Like, it was just singing it. It was a song.
Yeah. It was a chant. I'm not talking about that moment. It's just me and my God now at night. God, you really need to rescue me out of this.
Yes.
That was how I grew closer to God. I need to pass. I need to leave Western. Because now for me, I'm coming from primary to high school. And I remember even when I got my results, I was happy. I had passed one of the top 3, one of the 100 in Western. So I knew I have to be called to a national school. And I called Loreto because I had applied. Did you guys get my application? Have I been sent there 1 week before it was in the news? Hi, I just calling to confirm is my name on the list. My dad was not understanding because I kept asking, I need to call the school. And I used to pray, nisirushwe kwa fence, because Mukumu secondary now was...
like me and Asumbi High School.
Yeah, like I just used to pray, God, I need to come out of this environment and I need to come out alive. And one of the other things about being in that environment that really didn't make life easy for me was the beliefs. You know, because you're growing in a Western environment, there are also some beliefs. I remember the first night I was crying because my parents have left me after visiting day. Mtu aliniambia, uko atuli, utaamka mchawi. And I believed it. I believed it. I stopped crying. I was like, Another time
That
she
must
came.
have been hard for you because you cry over
I cry a
everything.
lot, and now everything I'm trying to cry before 6.
So those are the things they should be telling you to stop
I'm
crying.
trying to cry before 6 p.m. because then at night it's a different story. I was trying to also comb my hair, looking at the mirror like, unaangalia mira usiku utakuwa mchawi. You like, there were so many Luya beliefs, and because the school was populated by Luyas, I just believed them. Like if there was an owl, the bad,
Someone is dying.
Yeah,
someone is dying.
Yeah.
And there were so many. There were so many there. I also learned about bullfighting because bullfighting used to happen in our field. It's entertaining to some level. I also learned about circumcision because then the boys who are being circumcised would be white, pasted in white, and then are passing. For us, the school and the field, it was like a road. So they would pass on that road. So we'd hear the drums and we can just see, oh, now we can see them. Oh, okay, okay. They're going for the cat. So there's a lot of beliefs that the people had. Are there any abnormal beliefs that you encountered just by being in that environment? Or not abnormal, but very funny? I mean, me too.
I think there was a lot of
Superstition.
Yeah, superstition.
Let me call them
On
superstition.
witchcraft.
Woo! Hey,
I even remember,
actually,
devil worshipping, witchcraft. I remember there was this time, I think I was in Form 4, we had come from night preps. Then it was like at around 10:30 over there, almost 11 p.m. We're now going back to the dormitory area. And there was like a judge walk in school, like a night runner in school. That's what we call it. So I remember when we were walking, and it was a dark alley, and my dorm was like the last one over there. Then all of a sudden, because actually the one night runners in school, they were there. And
They were there? Students?
Yes, they were.
where are they running to?
They
The door
were.
is closed.
And I think, it could be some, I don't know if it's spiritual or mental. I really can't remember. I don't know how to tie the two. So when we're going to the dormitory and we're like a group of students, then from, I think, a dorm before me, so I'm walking, then all of a sudden you just see something standing.
White?
No, you just see from the shadows, something standing and starting to run after you. Where?
Is it a person?
A person, it was a student. It was
And
a
it's
student.
running after you. Is it making
Yes.
noise?
I didn't even hear the noise. I just saw the shadow and I decided to enter the nearest dorm that was open. And I stood there until everything was clear. Because there was actually a night runner. Actually, I think there were two. And I think at some point when they now identified the night runner, she was expelled.
My goodness.
Yeah, they were night runners. Because sometimes, even sometimes, and then the toilets were so far. It is dark. You even feel like even if you go out at night, so you'd even just hold on the pee until you hear the bell ringing.
Yes.
Because it's outside.
Yeah.
And the night runner can even catch you. It's just all those superstitions. So utakawia tu hivyo hadi tu you hear the bell when now people are awake, or you tell your cube mate or someone, please take me to the toilet. Yeah.
And all of you are afraid anyway.
Now at least when you're two than when you're one.
Yeah, but that's so scary.
Yeah.
One of the scariest thing for me was that our dorm in class 6 was behind us. Behind the dorm was a cemetery.
Oh yeah, we also had a cemetery next to
I don't know
school.
why that was that for the
There was a
for nuns.
No.
Yeah, as
I
we
don't
had
know
a
why that
cemetery.
is
Yeah.
Me, what-
normal. I don't know why that is normalized. I don't know.
Me, what I had is the school was built on a cemetery. So
You don't know if it's true.
I don't know if it's true. So you see, sometimes they would say there's something the laws called nyawawa.
Hey, that was the thing.
So they would say when you hear people at noise at night and then the
beat
ninging
the
drum,
drums and
what you need to do is wake up and also make noise so that they think you're not
Yeah,
part
you
of
beat
them.
the
They
plates,
don't go.
the cups.
Yeah, they don't. They don't take you. Go with them.
So you had those sounds?
Yeah, but I didn't think, it could be, I used to assume, I didn't want to believe it. I used to assume maybe it's some people in a church somewhere because that's what you could hear.
Oh
right?
yeah.
You've never had them even in church?
I know that sound, but I know it from the church.
Yeah, so I assume maybe people are cashiering somewhere. I don't know how true that is, but that was the belief.
So for
I
us,
mean, I used to hear it.
so
Now
for us-
Yeah, I used to hear it for
Yeah.
real. But I've stopped it now in my adulthood. I don't hear. When I go to shags, the way when you're in shags and everything is so quiet.
Yeah.
I don't hear it anymore. But I used to hear it so
I
much when
don't
I was
know how-
younger.
for us now, if the nun died, just know that night you guys are going to hear them. You know, they pray and sing.
Oh, us
going
guys,
around the chapel.
us guys,
They
you're
go
not
around the
hearing
whole
them.
night.
You're
And for
going
me,
to pray with them the whole night. You're going for mass the whole night.
because one of them.
Because a nun has died. What are you doing? Sleeping? We are going to pray.
I don't know if that's better than just being in the dorm and just hearing things. I don't know. But
even
for
when
the
my
first
auntie,
night,
even
I
when
did
my,
sleep.
even when my auntie died.
The students were there.
Yeah, all the students, because there was a technical school, there was a TTC, then there is now boys' school, girls'
They
school,
all
high
kesha.
school, and then the mixed. We're all there.
You're just praying the whole night.
Mass, and then now us, the family, they organized a sleeping place for us. But then there is mass like every other hour.
I don't know how I feel about that part of boarding, especially for us, the cemetery. And then now, if you hear sounds, as you were saying, you'd be assuming they're coming from there. As in, the nights were long. For me,
But
the
imagine
nights
now
were,
for me.
for me, the nights were
me,
I used to pray, go. And then, that is where I learned to cover my whole head sleeping to date.
But
Me
for
ni
me,
wale
no.
wa, a small hole.
Oh, yeah, by
But
the
I have
way.
to cover my whole head because I was scared one of that. There were a lot of talks of they were worshipping and just spirits, and just the whole thing for me scared me. So I sleep with my head covered today.
But for me, you know, the way when nuns die and then you have to go for mass the whole night, like I said, church was entertainment. I would be holding my knee. When are we going to be called? We go.
it was a survival technique for you.
Yeah,
Let's
it-
see it as
We
entertainment.
we go and sing and dance the whole night.
Yeah, I can see how that can shape you. But now, moving to another side of boarding school for us is that we transitioned to high school. And for context, both Joan and I were in Loreto, Limuru. And as I've said, I called. Nimefika, barua imefika. Every day since the results, I called every day until they said, yeah, you've gotten in. And I remember when my dad told me we're not reporting on the first day, we'll report on the second day.
You
I
cried.
The whole day.
Wow.
My spot will be taken and I will be back in Western. Please, young man, you better organize your finances. I cried and he was not understanding. And I kept saying, one, I'll find the syllabus has moved. Two, I've really worked hard. I don't want my spot to be taken. Aki, oh, Dad, I'm sorry if you're watching this. But finally I went and the culture was different. It was so different. We are now not allowed to see each other naked. We are not allowed to share bathrooms. Otherwise, be called a lesbian or something.
Lesbianism.
It was just
Lesbianism was
privacy.
no, yeah, lesbian. It was
the
just
reason was tied to
privacy.
privacy.
Wow.
And for me now, that was shocking. I've come with trying to now grow my hair. They cut it. My hair is curly. I'm being punished because my hair is curly. It's still a Catholic school, but I met nuns who are not wearing uniform per se. And it was very interesting. People have hair. What was that chemical? Yes.
Yeah.
It was allowed. I'm just, wow. I know there are people who I joined with who are like now coming from even better schools, and they're like, no, this is not it. But me, I was in heaven. We share the same sentiments.
Me, I was in
We're
heaven.
in heaven. We are eating rice, chicken, and chapo. When
And
there's
we
a
have
public
sausages.
holiday, there's sausages being alternated with eggs. There's tea. Not once, not twice a day.
Thrice.
Thrice.
From taking uji.
Yes. Now I'm
now-
eating. Now we like there's special diet in case you're
Yeah.
allergic to something. There's G cabbage and what. I'm just like, where hapa ni wapi? And I remember even there's a canteen that is being opened every day. For me, those were the shocking side. That's the shocking side. And they're still nuns, but they're not as, I don't know if I should call them bad as what I've experienced, or they're a bit liberal, they're a bit human. To me, it was very new. How was now this side of the world for you?
For me, high school was good. The only problem was the students. The students were mean. And they were, especially, like there was a lot of segregation. If you're dark skin, if you have short hair, your accent.
Now we are
People
coming
from-
we are coming from Ushago.
Yeah.
We have accents.
People from private schools.
People from private
Then rich
schools.
kids, like it was just the kids.
And because it was a national school, you have
every single
sorts of people,
person.
different status, everyone from Turkana to every. I loved that it was an, I don't know, leveling ground. Ujui kitu.
Oh, and then
Either way.
something good in high school was those kids who could not afford to come with shopping, they were given shopping. Like,
Which high school were you in?
you're privileged.
Was it
basi.
bursary?
No. I remember there was a time they would call people. If you've not brought shopping, if you can't afford shopping, you're told. So you go and they give you soap, whatever.
Oh, like basic necessities.
Basic necessities too that you need for school.
That's nice.
Because honestly speaking, when you're in boarding school, you do not need food. You do not even need pocket money.
If they feed you well.
Yeah, no, high school. Loreto, did you need that money?
No, I could survive.
Me, do you know how I survived?
Okay, kunywa chai.
Me with the 200 my mother would give me, how I survived was joining choir. Choir, we are not allowed to eat junk.
Yeah.
And then I'm from a school that you're not allowed to carry junk. So that was in my dad's head.
Yeah.
He's not buying junk.
Yeah.
So instead of shindo nomba watu, I joined choir.
Okay. For me, I loved also the fact that there was communication. There was a booth.
Because you didn't have like, it was
No, I'm
the
coming
letters.
from the letter.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm coming from the letter. Now I have a booth. I can call my mom.
Okay.
Like, it's human. I feel like there was some humanity to just being a student.
Okay.
There was also hot water.
Yeah.
There was a tank of hot water. You can fetch water and go shower. I was literally in heaven.
Let me tell you a big difference. Something I didn't tell you about primary school, the toilets. There were pit latrines that
Yeah.
were full to the brink.
In primary school.
Yeah, and then there were maggots everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's even for
And
me,
they were full, and I
our-
don't know why they were not draining the
I don't know
pit
if
latrines.
And it's still
And then
students to
sometimes
clean.
you go, it was so unhygienic. You go and then someone has just pooped on the door.
Yeah.
Like there was no getting in.
And there are
And then-
very few you
Yeah.
still have to use. And then you have to remove in your
Your sweater.
And then we went to high school. By the time you came to high school, they had built the ablution block.
the new block.
Now, me when I went to high school, it was not there, but the pit latrines were also
Back they
humane.
put for us this thing for, you know, where after you wash your hands, that you dry with
They-
the
we
warm
had-
air. We blow dried
Dried our hair.
Oh, like, hey, what is this?
But when I went to high school, blow dryers were allowed.
Oh, yeah.
Even
but
iron
now as for-
boxes.
I mean, I don't remember.
Even that was when Sister Amoyo was there.
There was such privilege.
Yeah, even food. She would go and taste the food. It's food. If it is food she cannot eat, she will complain.
Wow.
And she will ask students, like, how
I
was
didn't
the
meet her.
food? You didn't meet her. She
Yeah.
left when I was in Form 1. And then Mrs. Mogiro. And
Yeah.
then now
And
Mrs.
there was a lot
Wenge.
of freedom.
There was
before
a lot of-
Mrs. Renge.
Yeah.
There was a lot of freedom. Like, you can carry your home clothes because the weather.
Oh,
will
yeah.
not- you know, the weather is so bad.
By the time you guys never used to wear home clothes?
We used to wear. I don't know if it's there right now,
Oh,
but
yeah.
there was a lot of freedom in terms of schedule. You don't like TV, you can go listen
to
the
music.
radio. You don't want to be in prep in the morning, it was okay over the weekend.
I don't remember that part.
I remember on Saturday it was a little, like preps would start very late, so you have time to rest. You know, when you study sleep, you will realize that teenagers are the
Need a
people
lot
who
of
need a
sleep.
lot of sleep. Yet these schools will never factor in that they are actually not building your health. They're just destroying it more by the bad sleep hours. So for us, but I'm generally a person who sleeps a lot. So all my punishments were because I was oversleeping.
I was never punished ever in my life.
Okay,
I was
remember.
group
Punishments now
punishments.
looked different. When I went to Loreto, I remember the teacher. There was a teacher who was having a court case because he slapped someone. Corporal punishment was forbidden, and for me, I was shocked. And I was just a slap. But I love that we were humanized. I feel like there have been a lot of death in high schools because of the corporal punishment.
Oh, yeah,
if you
definitely.
follow stories.
Yeah.
And these things being normalized is what me I don't like. We need to just talk about them more so that it's normal for people to be punished in human ways.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So I remember our punishment would be to stand at the central ground.
Yeah,
because
and
it's
you were so
cold.
embarrassed.
What?
Just stand there and people will see you.
Or you're told to clean the central path.
Yeah,
And
to
you're
clean
not cleaning it at there is that Kim
Yeah.
brush.
Yeah. But then now people are from Nairobi, they feel it's extreme. Me, I'm just
Yeah,
chill
I'm
out.
like where I was
I'm
digging.
okay.
I was digging.
And then I remember also that's also where I connected with church for me. Maybe that's how I ended up being a church captain. But I enjoyed going for church. I don't know why.
No,
I
for
don't know
me, I found church boring.
It was a bit boring. It's not as entertaining as this other one.
Hey, you should go to a Catholic
Yeah.
church in Nyanza.
Yeah, the dancing.
The dancing.
songs.
And the
Of course, in
songs.
Loreto, it was the same.
boring.
And then people were not being forced. But there's the day you would all go for mass, but
That was
they
Thursday.
appreciated other denominations. So there would be CU. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There'd be Muslims. Yeah, I for me that was a bit liberating. That a school can appreciate all this. I don't know if you elaborated. Let me know if that was the experience for you, because me nilikuwa to heaven. I know what I didn't like is interaction, the peer-to-peer bullying that would happen, and it was also a culture where, when you enter in Form 1, there's a way you are handled by the cops and everything.
And your seniors.
And it was a culture. So
It was a culture.
in Form 1, I think I was in survival mode. In Form 2, I was just happy. Bora naenda choir out. Nitakutana na boys and we mingle and we sing. I was happy. If there's no choir, I'll join Science Congress and I'll convince you how to, form
But
things.
there was choir all through the year.
No, first time
we used to,
when we left,
used to practice. Oh, when I left.
I remember there's a first time I really had to work with Chebichi to see how we will go out. So we joined Science Congress. Because we were bright also in the sciences, they were like, okay, fine, your project makes sense. That's how I went out. There was a time there was no choir. But I also love that they nurtured my talent there. It is in Loreto that I knew I love music. I can do music. There were options. There were options for you to participate in activity. I don't know if this
Let me tell you, when I joined high school, there were clubs that were put aside for light-skinned girls with long hair.
Now that you said it to me,
with long hair, like for you to be a scout, you had to,
Ranger.
even ranger, you have to be. And then we used to have matching in form in second
there
term.
was discrimination between the peers, whether subtle or not. I might have missed it because I had the privilege of being a ranger, but only because I knew joining the club was not easy.
Me being that I was,
Since
was
you
not
said
so
that,
easy.
I think now for us it was the verses for music festivals. English verse was like seen as prestigious. Then there was Kiswahili verse, and then I think there was the dances, and there was always that rivalry between the peers also. Yeah.
for me, I really didn't care about being in any of those clubs. I just wanted to sing and live, and I was in
I just
choir.
wanted to be out of the school.
That's all. Like I didn't even care if we went out or not. I just wanted to go. Was looking forward to that. Was it 4:15? So that we go for choir practice. Just that. I didn't care about all the. Loreto, you had to survive, because if you came na when here, you will be humbled.
You'll be very humble.
You will be shown.
Me and Petrine Naska, we were called the bossy kids. Tukaekwa hata tukasimama juu ya meza. Look at these bossy children.
And
ndio kibelembele ndio imetupeleka pali tuko.
And we were identified by numbers.
Yes.
So who's number 20M?
Yeah.
Please stand.
We were identified by numbers across the street.
Across the street. Me, I was 20. Like, no one knows your name. They'll come.
But
who's
they know
number
your
20M?
number.
But they know your number.
I don't know if that's a good culture. There's someone who was saying, can you imagine identifying people with numbers?
But
I
everyone
don't
had
know.
like an admission number in the
Yeah,
school, but not really
in Loreto, the
identifying
numbers
them.
were a big deal.
Like we
I
were
knew number
45.
one.
We were 45 and
45 maximum.
maximum.
Yeah.
And each they numbered us according to alphabetical order.
Yes.
So each class has number 1 to 45, and those are your families. Like
That's your
anyone who was
family,
number 20 was my
23,
family.
your sister, your daughter.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't associate it as a bad thing.
Even I
In fact,
didn't see it as a bad
enjoyed
thing.
it. I think that I don't know about the teachers, but I know the culture was a little bit different.
I
From
didn't
what
see
I came
anything
from,
wrong with the teachers.
Me, I felt I'm a bit better now.
I didn't see anything wrong with the teachers. Maybe there were boring teachers and teachers were not boring. Just that.
But I also know I experienced bullying, a lot of bullying, and not only in Form 1, in Form 3, peer to peer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I experienced bullying, and that was a bit traumatizing. I also appreciate the nursing system was a little bit better from where I came from. The nurse, I don't know, I was able to even get further treatment at home. Nilikuwa mgonjwa.
Oh, me, I am glad.
Rather than someone ignoring my symptoms from the word go, we are anajifanya. You know, there was that culture in boarding. That
I am glad I started my periods in high school. Because as someone who has endometriosis, I cramped from day one of my periods. And I would go to the, what is it called? Dispensary. I would go to the dispensary and sleep the whole day. They would give me painkillers. They wouldn't work, but at least I was allowed to sleep. If I was in primary school, I would be beaten for cramping.
Being sick.
That's why, like, and even me, the fact that my parents would be told when it's gotten to a point that hey, she needs to go checked, I appreciate it, because I went for treatment katikati ya term in primary. My parents would never know I was sick.
But do you realize there are some diseases that were for rich kids, like going to the dentist, going to the optician?
When you went to the optician, what are you saying?
Sasa nyinyi ndio mko hapo.
You went to the optician. We can't see.
Oh, me, in our heads, those of you who are coming at you, I have a dentist.
Appointment.
Dentist what?
I was
But if you have
blind.
like a cavity, like you can't even eat, you can't concentrate.
What do you mean?
Those ones, it's not even a...
man, or you would sleep.
Those ones who didn't even have a cavity thing. It was just that, every year they have, every 3 months they have to go. Kuna wengine hata, their parents used to come pick their clothes and bring them clean clothes. They never ever washed their clothes.
I love it for them. I don't know. I also loved the culture of taking photos on Saturday. I don't know. I was. I should have known I was meant for this job, because Saturday ile kungara niteka hapa picha zangu za high school. Ile kungara nilikuwa nangara nikijua cameraman anakuja. I love that there was that appreciating memories. I don't know. It's not so common in other schools, but it's little things that really made it worthwhile, and you can remember it. Because I was like, how did I take all these photos? I have so many photos.
Imagine don't have any.
You're not photogenic, you see. Now, they should have discovered my career
talent.
My talent from there, talking. But I was being punished for those things. But I also loved the nuns. The nuns were not so bad to us. They were actually very good to me. When I was struggling with my mental health, they used to call me to the convent. We just talk, or I just sit. There's a time I could not actually voice what I was feeling when the bullying was happening. And I remember Sister Lena told me, you're not okay. And every time she used to come during prep and just peep and look at me, and she could see maybe I was crying or sleeping. And she'd come and just, like in the evening, just come to the convent. I just sit. Nothing. They offer tea, and then I go to class. If I don't want to talk, I don't talk. So I really liked that there were people who were really interested in our upkeep. Like, there was humanity, basic humanity. And I was just saying the only thing I didn't like was when I was experiencing the bullying. And I feel I can't blame the culture of boarding. I can just blame the people.
Yeah.
Because it's something that happened amongst peers, and it was not really a good thing. It was something that really messed up my mental health. Thank God I came to this other side. Bullying is a whole other topic on its own. I feel like we can talk about bullying in another episode. But other than that, the culture of the school, I appreciated it. Even when I was seeing the TikTok trend of we will
treat your girls well. We'll take care of your girls.
There's a TikTok of Loreto. I was like, what happened? I'm not saying those experiences are not valid. I was just curious as to know, what happened? What happened? Because for me, my experience was...
There was a TikTok about Loreto.
Yeah. The way the trend of people shaming their high school, the teachers, and they put the photos. We are dealing with a whole new generation. Gen Z, I don't think Gen Z can be...
They can't take it.
Gen Z can be bullied. I don't know if Gen Z right now can survive in Western. They will ban those schools. But yeah, there was a lot of that negative talk about the experience in Loreto. I don't know if it got worse, but for me, my ear, and even you might find us, we are talking about it like we were in heaven, and there are people who are like, what the actual hell is happening?
You should have seen me eat.
Yeah.
I was waiting, and we used to serve ourselves, and then we are in tables with people who are from those schools, St. Fans.
Yeah, and then they don't like the food.
The food is so bad. Us guys are waiting for you to say it's bad so that we... And I told you I was a glutton. I would eat it all.
Yeah. I remember even my friend Chevichi and Petri, if they are watching this, saying, oh, those chapatis were deep fried. I never noticed in my 4 years chapatis were deep fried. Me, I saw chapatis, full stop. I loved the culture. I just loved, there was a little bit of freedom. Hakuna eat kulala sijui 10 kwa mka 4. It's just you preps used to end at 9:15, 9:30 for us.
Now you see, for someone like me, I still struggled.
Or because you're not a
I'm
night
not-
person.
yeah, I still struggled a lot. I wish what I would like for them to change the boarding schools is just to scrap off the preps
Actually,
and allow
it
students.
was it this year?
But vitu kwa ground.
They scrapped it.
Yeah.
I wish that was during my time.
Yeah.
I wish.
Me, I'd rather you tell me come to class at 5 and then go to sleep at 6. I will not complain.
Now me, I was thriving at night, and I'm still a night person. That I enjoy night prep.
But they should scrap
morning,
preps.
as I've said,
Imagine-
I was punished for being late, oversleeping always.
8 to 4 is fine.
Yeah.
8 to 4 is fine.
learning.
Yeah, it's
Thorough
fine.
learning. Is there, as we wind up, is there a favorite memory you have of boarding school?
Choir.
And you were not even talking to the boys. You just loved the
I just
singing.
me, I just love singing. It wasn't about the boys.
Yeah, everyone had different agendas.
For you, it was the boys.
At first it was the singing, and then I realized these boys, if I talk to them, I'm not getting pregnant, so I can just enjoy going out. I can just enjoy the funky and just know people. I loved going out. Mi hata katikati ya KCSE si ndio nilienda starehe, unaona, I found a husband. Nilienda funky starehe, and I told the principal, I argued, I said, this is a musical and the music paper is coming, so I'd rather get experience from attending. That is how I ended up in that. I don't have. How can you explain someone going for a funky in the middle of KCSE?
Insane.
I was only for all music students. We said we need to see it practical.
Imagine if Monte was there, you wouldn't even have to
Yeah, but he
your
left,
case.
so we had to be our own voice. But I enjoyed funky. I enjoyed a bit of freedom, and in fact, I think boarding school and high school made me quite lazy. Because I was now a cop, I'm not doing so many things. So by the time I end home, we're fighting with my mom about duster.
Oh, let me tell you what
duster.
let me tell you what Monte did for me, and he doesn't know he did for me.
Yeah.
He used to give me the music room keys, and then because I'm not a night person and I don't really
go
like
sleep.
crowds, so I would go to the music room, turn on some classical music, and sleep.
Yeah, we had a radio.
Hey,
sleep.
Yeah, even me, I just
And
go
then
listen
when
to
the bell
music.
rings, I go sleep. But at least it was because I would get, when we go for prep, I would start sleeping at 7:30, and then everyone else is judging you. They don't understand why you're sleeping. But I was so tired. Me even now.
You're still, even right now.
Hey,
you're
I'm so
very
tired.
sleepy. Yeah, but for me, I just enjoyed being a teenager. Just being a teenager. Even if choir had rules. Yeah, Monte, you couldn't talk to one boy.
Hey, why
for
are you
3
hugging a
funkies.
boy?
Like, he would be, no specifying, like mingle. No talking to one boy. That's how you get into trouble. So we learned you swap.
Yeah. So I think for me,
Yeah.
maybe the only good memory I have is maybe being Miss Environment. I kid you not. Like, my memory is blank in that
Yeah.
sector. I think that's the only good memory I have right now in my head.
At least.
'Cause I was
What,
Miss
did it involve
Environment.
like a catwalk?
Yes, it was a whole catwalk. I was crowned. I designed my dress. Yeah. That's the only good memory I have. I think all the others are just very deep.
That's interesting. And even as we wind up, did boarding school shape you? Did boarding school scar you?
I think boarding school scarred me thoroughly.
Given a chance, would you repeat that
Never.
time of your life?
Even if I'm given, I don't know what.
Million?
Never. Stay with your million. Stay with
no
your
part
million.
Of it you look and say, this shaped me.
I think maybe resilience. It taught me resilience. Because I used to remember, we used to be told, just go there, do whatever it is you're doing and get out. That was what my parents used to say. I was those ones who were always transferring. Like, next time I'm transferring.
Take you to Alliance.
This time I was going to Quartet. I was coming to Quartet. Yeah. So I was being told. Yeah. So every time you say, me, this is my last time. Every time, this is my last time.
And even Petrin used to tell us every closing day,
transferring
"Bye, guys,
again.
I'm not sure I'm coming back." Just to come back. I'm going to Alliance.
Yeah. So for me, I don't think I really enjoyed that experience. And how it scarred me now, it was until sometime last year.
Yeah.
Because
October.
yeah, and actually there was actually something that happened. One of our schools was burnt down. I mean, one of our dormitories was burnt down.
When you're in school.
When I was in school. And I remember that day I was dozing, night preps, I was dozing. The first time I was dozing, then I had a scream from far. And I startled. And then I looked around me. Everybody is normal. But I had that first scream. I had it. Then I was like, let me come back to dozing. Then I doze again. I wake up. Then it was just a loud, continuous scream. And the dormitory was on fire. And I remember that day my desk mate was not even over there. So people were like, my desk mate is in the dome. Then is when I was like, oh my goodness. She was not there the entire night. So probably she is in the dome. Hey. And I think, coming to think about it, I think maybe it was sometime last year when I sat down with myself and I tried to remember, why is it that if a balloon pops, if something falls down,
shake.
And
you always have that reaction. Like I kept asking you, why are you always so scared?
Even my family is usually like what? Why are you always scared about everything? And I sat down and I thought to myself, that's where it stemmed from. Because it was so traumatizing to the extent that, there was really no counseling or something like that. And I remember we were even given an exercise of write down the people
who you think bad.
And apparently some people wrote me. And later on, it was one of my teachers who was telling me, you were actually written by some of the students. And I felt so bad. I was like, how, yes, I was bullied thoroughly, but
it really scared you. Oh, come here. I'm really sorry. I am really sorry. We need to process this. It's a lot.
I thought I wasn't going to cry.
Here's my tissue.
You want to cry too?
No.
What? I'm really sorry. That one was really traumatizing for you. That one was really, really traumatizing for you. Yeah.
It's my cat.
It has to be seen as it is. But by then, the effect of your childhood, it still shows up in your adulting. Don't cut. It's okay. It still actually shows up. And until you heal, you might be triggered with every noise. You might be triggered. And remember we talked about it because we had gone to take care of your sister's baby, and anything Jocyline would startle. Anything, any noise at night, and I'm like, why are you getting scared of everything? And she's like, she doesn't know where it comes from until we met your former teacher.
Yeah.
Like, I now know where it comes from.
Yeah, because it was that same trip when we went to see my sister. Then I remember I had touched about my trauma.
Yes, yeah.
And then,
It's okay. People need to know it's just not school. It makes you or breaks you, by the way.
Yeah. So, after touching up on that story, then I remember when we were going to help my sister deliver, I told you about some of the high school traumas.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden now when we were coming back at the airport, because we were with Margie, and then I see that deputy head teacher, and that, those ones who tell you you'll be nothing.
Yeah.
You will never make it. You're a failure.
And
you
these are
come
the
from
things
failure.
I feel like have been normalized, and it's not healthy for teenagers finding themselves that these are the messaging that teachers who are meant to help guide, shape you, are telling you.
Exactly. And that's why even to date, I always overwork.
Yes.
Because someone told me somewhere, you'll never make it in life.
I know.
You know.
Yeah.
Hey, so it was until that point when I saw that deputy head teacher and she asked me, I know I'm even the one who even saw her, and I was like, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, hi, how are you? So where are you these days? I'm like, I told her I'm a lawyer. I have my law firm. And yes, I have actually graduated. I did my career. I'm enjoying my career. And before that, I used to have nightmares of high school. Like every time it was either I was being bullied, or I'm being removed from my dorm, I'm being punished for something, I had those dreams until that time last year. It was around October. When I saw her and I told her that, then from that day, apparently, it just happened. I think it was some closure. And my dreams changed. I still dream about high school today, but I'm more in control. No one is bullying me because from that day I told her,
that
I'm not the person whom,
I'm
not the person who you thought I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I usually think we are actually lucky to get out alive. If you watch Lin Ngugi, there are episodes of people who've died in boarding school just because these things have been normalized. The beating, it's like you're slaves. They've been normalized, and I feel like there are actually death cases that we'll never hear about. Even the way we are appreciating that we were being given chance to rest when we are sick. There are actually schools that there are kids who have died.
In our school there was one who died and it was covered. Yeah, they were extremely sick and nothing was done.
Yeah. I feel like it's a side of boarding school that we need to be more vocal about, because right now if I ask you, do you think you'd take your child to the boarding school you went?
Never. My younger sister was called to the same boarding school, and I remember my parents came and asked me, do you think we should? I said a strong no. I was like, she won't survive because I know her, she will not survive. I said a strong no. Yeah.
Do you think your experience shaped you?
I was a very soft person. I was like, I wouldn't have survived if I hadn't gone to a boarding school. Like, I remember I used to lose things. I was just very careless. But then, every time I lose things, I remember I used to lose my towel every time. And then my dad told me, now you have to steal someone else's towel. That is the last time I ever lost anything in school. By the time I was getting to high school, even a pair of socks, I did not lose socks. I had to go tell my mom, hizi zimezeeka, I need new socks. Not because I lost me, it did shape me.
I'm not sure it shaped me per se, because I feel like for a very long time, I put that experience of my primary boarding school in a box. And it's something I was struggling to wonder, why can't I remember my primary school classmates when they meet and they're like, do you remember me? I remember some of them, but I honestly don't remember very many people because I was on survival mode. I need to work hard and leave this place. I just need. And then there was also one thing, there was a belief that if you pass so much, you'll be utarogwa. Yes, because the trail was the index ones that we had and they passed. Then they went to Alliance. They were not doing well, or someone wasn't walking. So I was also trying to find a balance. I don't need to pass so much. I need to be somewhere, but nimepita. Nikwambia Mungu, literally, me at a position 2, 3, ni sawa, but 1, tuachane nayo. I need to leave this place. So for Mukumu, I don't think it really, I think it traumatized me. I do not like going to Western. I do not like to remember that part of my life. I made some good friends, like Maria, like we've been friends for years. But when we went to Loreto, and we went with her and another one called Sheila, we were in heaven. And for me, Loreto shaped me because it amplified what I was good at. While I was scared to participate in music because now I'll interact with a boy and be punished, this side, I was happy to interact with boys even if the bullying really traumatized me, because I was bullied in Form 3, not Form 1. That was a very hard time, and it made me realize not everyone is your friend, like literally, because I usually tend to believe they're good in everyone. So I'm like, everyone can be good. I could not believe people would be malicious the way we were bullied in our class. So other than the experience of peer-to-peer, the culture for me in high school shaped me. So I'm hoping that this would be normal conversations to help the future generation. Because our generation, it was normalized to experience some of these things. And I don't think bad nutrition is something that we should normalize. I don't think the way we were being beaten, as if we were being killed, it's something to normalize. Because right now, most of us, would you take your kid to the same school?
Oh, no, of course not.
I would also, and over my dead body. I remember when my sister went to Bunyore, I was crying on her behalf. Like, mtoto last one sasa amepelekwa huku kufukai, she will die. But she also, I know she has her own experiences, because she says, if your school is past Nakuru, forget about your hair, forget about human rights. Yeah. So it's something I hope that we will normalize talking about, calling out the crap that was happening in those schools, because some of these things are crap, calling out that culture that has destroyed so many people. And this is the place that is supposed to shape you as a teenager. I feel like schools can do better. You can do better. If you are running a school, you're watching this, you can do better. Yeah, so thank you so much, ladies, for staying with me till late at night to share your experiences, because I believe this conversation is going to empower someone. It's going to empower you to also overcome your own trauma. I know. Now that you talk about it more, I'm really happy, because you used to be afraid so much. So I'm hoping that it will empower someone. It will help people reflect. It will help parents be even more intentional with where they take their kids to school, because some of these things are a matter of life and death. We just don't know. And feel free in the comment section. Tell us about your boarding school experience. Is there anything you resonated with in this conversation? Is there anything that happened in your school that you feel, I know this wasn't good? Tell us in the comment section. Let us know your experience of boarding school. Let's just talk about it and normalize the conversation. So until next time, guys, we say bye-bye.